Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend DG Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Ron Mars. You are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
In brightest day,
in blackest nights,
No evil shall escape my sight.
but those who worship evil's might.
beware my power.
Green Lantern's light. Hello and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Green Lantern podcast. I am Phil. Joining me, as always, Master of the Course. It is.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
And yeah, if you watch this on YouTube, it'll be a little early, but welcome to 2025 if you're listening on the podcast.
We're talking to you from the distant past of December 2024. But anyway, welcome to 2025.
What do you have? What do we have in the future? Flying cars?
Time travel? DeLoreans?
Oh my god, I've been watching through all the original Twilight Zone episodes, and there was an episode where these again, kids, this is from the 60s, but these space explorers like crashed on this planet, and like they had been there for a while, and they had like written down their story where they had made this deep space travel in that far off year of like 1991 or something. Yeah. Oh, Justin and I were for our X-Men episode. We were doing Days of Future Past yesterday. We were recording that, and the apocalyptic future you see is 2013.
Live through it.
I said, man, they were 7 years too early.
No, they were talking about. They're actually 2 years late. They were talking about the New 52.
Oh. Oh my! Shots. See, it's not just me. I pretty much anyone. Unless I just find people who think like me. I swear, I can't find anyone on the team who will defend New 52. Well, maybe Tyler, but besides that, yeah, nobody's defending New 52.
Well, it's. I mean, you've got these things running amok.
It's a lot of it's. Yeah.
You've got these things. Well. We'll talk about it when we get into the issues, because I have issues.
We know you do. They're right behind. They're right behind you.
Not all of them are near mint too. So.
Oh. They're not.
They're not.
Oh, but yeah, okay. Bad news, good news. Will, bad news. Yes, we are doing another part of Rise of the Third Army this week. But good news, it's the last part.
Yay! This has been going on for 48 issues at this point.
This will be like this. I mean, again, we took 3 episodes off for Millennium and Larfleas, but yeah, this is the 6th part of it we're doing, and we've done at least 2 to 3 episodes now, 2 to 3 issues an episode. So
yeah, and I mean, and that gets, we were chatting about this before, going live, is that this Third Army seems to be incredibly powerful, but also incredibly weak, because guns can take them out, but they're able to take out Green Lanterns. I mean, I don't know. It just seems if they're that easy to kill, they wouldn't be as effective. And they're in the annual, they're rampaging through Atlanta, Georgia.
mm-hmm.
Where's the Justice League? I mean. And they're going to have the whole universe overrun in 27 days, 17 days. It was something that ended in a 7. And I was like, okay, that was, I don't understand.
Tortoise in the hair, Will. Tortoise in the hair.
I guess. It's just, I don't know. This whole Rise of the Third Army has been agonizingly slow. And again, this Third Army, they're inconsistent at best in my mind, right?
Yes. I think this Rise of the Third Army could use some Viagra.
Yeah, it's I was happy to see that we are at the end of the Rise of the Third Army. Um, and both of these issues I think were really good, honestly. Yeah, I know we give the New 52 a lot of crap, I think deservedly so in most cases. But these issues seem to be,
Well, we're finally starting to roll because
yeah.
we're running into Wrath of the First Lantern. So
hmm And there are some cool things in here. Some interactions with Simon and with Guy and Badog and I mean there's just some good stuff. Stuff happens and good stuff happens, I think, in these issues. Now we're still, I cannot imagine waiting for the Rise of the Third Army to finish on a month-to-month basis because, good God. But, Hal and Sinestro checked out in the Green Lantern book, what, 2 or 3 issues ago?
yeah, I mean, it wasn't around issue 12.
I think so, yeah. So 0, 13, 14, and 15, so maybe 4 issues, previously. So it seems like they've really kind of put the whole plot kind of just on hold again, which seems to really drag this thing out. And I don't know if that's maybe poor planning from the editorial side or something. I don't know. This thing, I really, really feel like that this thing could have been tightened up a lot to make it better.
Oh yeah. I don't know. Should we get into it?
Let's get into it. I mean, it's not an issue of Brightest Day, so.
You beat me to it. I was gonna say, what's worse, Brightest Day or this?
Yeah, Rise of the Third Army just, I mean, I like the ideas behind it,
Mm-hmm.
because this is ultimately where this creative team is taking the Guardians. Now, I don't like that they're taking the Guardians there, but they've made it make sense, right? So they've put in the work and they've made this make sense. But it's just my chief complaint against Rise of the Third Army is just that it's so drawn out. It is just it feels like it's taken forever.
I mean, do you think they just pick a random point for all the books to get to? Be like, okay, everybody, wrap up all your books because everyone's gonna be going in the Wrath of the First Army at issue 17.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, because the Wrath of the First Lantern's coming, and that's my understanding is that's really the final hurrah for Jeff Johns on Green Lantern. So, yeah, I mean, I'm cautiously optimistic about it. Finishing everything off because I feel like they've set everything up and they've been setting it up for a long time, and now we're going to start, knocking some of those dominoes down. So, just a quick check in with you on this.
Okay.
Overall, New 52. The first 4 issues of Red Lanterns was really, really strong, right?
Mm-hmm.
Overall, including the 0 issues up to, I think we're up to 16 on all of them now, right?
Yeah. Because Wrath of the First Lantern, like I said, it starts with everyone's 17. So yeah.
So the first 16 issues, which include the 0 issues, where would you kind of rank the various titles?
I don't know. It's so hard because, like we said, there was a bunch of potential, like Red Lanterns, New Guardians. Where eventually kind of just I know. In the end, we were pretty much disappointed in all of them.
Yeah, exactly.
I might have to go. New Guardians and Red Lanterns are kind of battling it out for first and second place for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then Green Lantern, and then Green Lantern Corps probably last. I mean, in Green Lantern, I mean, it's not bad, but it's like we did the whole Hal and Sinestro thing. Then we kind of just completely shifted gears and went to
Exactly.
Simon, which again is not bad either. But it's just we're going into this big huge event, and all of a sudden we just like switch up the main character.
Yep.
Who should have had time to develop his own backstory and his own at least a couple of adventures before running right into Rise of or Wrath of the First Lantern.
So I'm gonna show my bias here because
Green Lantern. Let me guess, Green Lantern.
Go ahead and play the clip.
Oh, I'm getting there. Well, you know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I, of course, love Hal Jordan.
There you go. I'm gonna put Green Lantern at the top of the heap. And as much as I really want Kyle's book to be up there,
Mm-hmm.
I just really feel like it's the one that had the most promise that just kind of wasted it with that whole arc about the solar system and that angel dude, whatever he was. I mean, because then we got an arc and then training, and then why not just start with all the training? So it just, I don't know. If Red Lanterns, I think I would put second to Green Lantern, and then I would put Core third with the New Guardians last. But honestly, that's not a reflection. It's not a reflection on Kyle, because I really wanted to like what was going on in that book, but we got such a weird way into him becoming a White Lantern that it just
I don't know, train and stuff.
And
although I must say Red Lanterns I think has had the most consistent story through the 16.
I would probably agree with that.
A lot of the other three, it's like by the time you get to issue 12, it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna radically shift stuff. Like again, New Guardians, Cal basically got a new team. Again, the Green Lantern book, we know what happened to Hal and Sinestro.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
I mean,
by issue 12 or 13, Guy Gardner's fighting guys at the dock.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the core book has probably been the most. I mean, as much as I was disappointed in New Guardians, I think I'm most disappointed in the core book just because it has been, before New 52, such a really great, dependable run, on all those characters.
Yeah, they're not tapping their full potential. Guy Gardner, John Stewart, Kilowog. I mean, come on.
Salak. I mean, and then all of the newer characters that, came to prominence in the, the previous run of the book. I mean, they're just.
Or even if they don't want to use them, again, you can create your own new Lantern and bring, and do things with that character.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think I'm probably most disappointed with Green Lantern Corps.
Yeah, I think we're in agreement there. Yeah.
And then with New Guardians, I was so hopeful with that one, but I feel like we just burned the first 8 issues of that, for really no reason. I mean, and yeah, with Kyle finding out, about, hey, they brainwashed Ganthet, and the Guardians are behind all this. That news seems to have trickled out so slowly over the months that he's known about it, right? I mean, because he found out about it like 5 or 6 months ago in New Guardians. So,
and I guess the Guardians kind of cut his ring off somewhat, but it's like, why wouldn't you try to get a hold of any Lantern and be like, oh yeah, hey, let it be known, yeah, the Guardians are up to something. They basically lobotomized Ganthet.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. I just really, and that just goes back to my disappointment, I think, with Rise of the Third Army, because it feels so ponderous. And we've seen hey, we went from Rebirth at the end with the Earth Lanterns and Ganthet with, New Guardians aging up, right?
Mm-hmm.
To volume 4, and boom, we've got 7,200 lanterns, and so much can happen so quickly, but so little is happening here. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong here. My take on this is that, the Guardians are, our third army is taking over everything. But we don't see it, right? I mean, we're not really seeing the third army, washing over systems and billions upon trillions of people.
Yeah, it's not like Black Lanterns who are like basically just like swarming the universe. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't feel, I mean, this is supposed to be a bigger threat, but it doesn't feel like it. And again, I think it comes down to some of that inconsistency and just how long this is taking, for us to get here. So, all right, dude, I'll shut up now.
Well, and like one more thing, it's like, why wouldn't they start that whole thing on Earth? It's like, absorb Superman, absorb Martian Manhunter. It's like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, and when we get to it, where is the Justice League? These things are running amok in
New 50
Georgia.
New 52.
Yeah. That's all we have to say. New 52.
Why wasn't the league efficient? New 52.
The Titans. Where are the Titans? Where's the Doom
Oh,
Patrol? I mean,
don't even get me started on the Titans. Yeah, I mean, well, again, I mean, at this point, I mean, well, oh God, there's a whole story. I mean, right now, it's like those original Titans really never came together, except later there's going to be a story where like they were made to forget they ever came together. It's
oh wow. Okay,
yeah, it's a bunch
cool.
of teenagers with like Tim Drake running around as the Titans. So yeah, they're not gonna be.
Ah, okay. I mean, and how does, we talked about,
New
you
52.
know, New 52, and Batman has, he trades in his, sidekick every year for a new one, right?
Batman, my favorite character. Child soldiers aren't as durable in the New 52.
Wow, that is harsh.
All right. I do not have a synopsis for number 16 for the annual. I do so.
Okay.
So we can walk through the annual first, and then.
Or do we need to do
number 16
16
first.
first?
Yeah.
And, gotcha. Because that was the order I read them, and that seemed to be
Yeah,
the order that they. Yeah.
16 then the annual. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right. Yep. There it is. All right. Green Lantern Corps Volume 3, number 16 from March 2013. Bad Guys. Writer Peter Tomasi, penciler Fernando Pesarin, inker Scott Hanna, colors Gabe Edelab, letterer Dave Sharp, and editors Matt Idelson and Will Moss. Will Moss. All right. So, as you see on the cover, Simon Baz will appear.
Yes.
Yeah, like you said, yeah, we see the Third Army's finally running amok in Atlanta, Georgia, taking people over, and then the guy in prison. Oh well, boy, that must be a hell of a cable system on OA that see the this Earth
Exactly.
news broadcast that guy in prison. So the Guardians basically tell the Third Army, yeah. It's a Third Army. The Guardians command that you acquire the biosignature of Guy Gardner and assimilate. Let me see. Guy is in prison looking all miserable, and his cellmates, like, making all the usual prison threats. And
I like how he deals with that. Just
I know, because the guy's like blowing smoke in his face, like, bets are you won't last a week, and lots of shivs being sharpened. And yeah, guy just like backhands him without even looking, just like backhands him. So then the guard comes to get him. He's like, he has visitors, which are his brother and sister. Basically talking about helping get him out of here. And his brother's even like, where's your ring? What happened? And his sister's asking what happened at the docks. And they're basically like, why are you just giving up? And his sister like slapped him twice.
Yeah. He goes, that hurts.
Yeah. You know that hurts, right? I love. She's like, since when do you play the "Woe is Me" card? Since now. She's like, you haven't looked us in the eye since we sat down. But then the alarms start going off in the prison. The Third Army has shown up,
Mhm.
and Guy, if all of a sudden now Guy's like, I ain't gonna die. I'm not gonna die like this. Yeah, I'm not gonna die chained to this damn table. Open the cuffs. He wants to help fight, and he's basically like, I was a Green Lantern. You guys aren't ready for this. Because the guard's like, our tactical units will handle whatever. He's like, no. He's like,
No.
yeah. So they unlock Guy. They all think about it, unlock Guy, and he's like, you got an armory? He's like, okay. Meanwhile, in space, in the unknown sectors, some alien force is using pieces of Mogo to attack this planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, yes, Jon Stewart and Fatality have a problem with. So.
Yeah, and I have to say, Fatality seems so far from her original conception.
Is it because of the Star Sapphires, or
She just seems to be almost a different character at this
Yeah.
point. And I mean, spoilers, I know that romance between her and John is coming, in future issues. So and that's just weird. Okay.
Yeah. Nothing says true love like, oh hey, you can let my whole planet die. But anyway,
Yeah. And yeah, we'll not get started on the new gods and all of that stuff that never happened but did happen. So yeah.
yeah. Was that why they? Well, again, it's New 52, but is that why they kind of changed her too? Because again, we're kind of probably fuzzy on. Oh hey, I'm trying to remember. Did that whole thing? Did the whole Cosmic Odyssey happen in New 52? Have they mentioned the death of that planet or no?
Well, John I think he said he's responsible for it, but they didn't mention how it happened. And
Okay.
of course, we've got new gods in the future as
Yeah.
well that we've not met yet.
And we've never met a Martian Manhunter. Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. So it may have happened, but just differently. And I guess the Mogo's pieces are starting to come together.
Yep. Which is, I mean, cool. I mean, we're getting Mogo back, which is
Yes.
great. And I do like that Mogo is not happy.
Oh yeah.
And now, okay, I have to say this. Mogo taking out a metric ton of the Third Army makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
Okay. Dudes with guns taking out any member of the Third Army makes zero sense.
Yes. Yeah. Because we see, Guy and his brother and sister and all these guards. Yeah, they have the prison's armory, and they're basically shooting the Third Army. Which I get. Are they going down? I mean, we see it looks like green blood coming out of them, but are they going down, or are they still coming? Oh no. Well, it looks like some of them are.
Some of them go to like, shoot them in the eyes, or
Oh yeah, go for the eyes. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just they do really seem inconsistent in their power and their durability
Yeah.
because guns shouldn't be. I mean, they can exist in space.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume they have really thick skins. I would assume that they're bulletproof, high energy laser proof as well. But
Yeah.
I don't know. This my problem, I think, comes from the fact that and you actually think you articulated this much better than I'm trying to do right now. Is in Blackest Night, the Black Lanterns, they were scary,
Oh yeah.
and whole planetfuls of them descending. That was scary. This Third Army, they've not given them that sense of, horror or, impending doom that we got with Blackest Night.
Mm.
I mean, they're goofy looking tall guardians with no mouths or ears and really big eyes. I mean, what they tear people apart and then they, absorb them, but what else do they really do? I mean, I really think they could have done a better job of making them a threat that, a really horrific threat, but then not making them so easy to kill. And, because they really build them up because they kill a lot of Green Lanterns,
Mm-hmm.
but then people are able to take them out with a gun, which does not work for
I
me.
mean, I guess Guy and everyone might have been overwhelmed even still, but again, we see Simon Baz and Bidig
And
show up.
Badal, yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Guy basically telling Bidig, he's like, yeah, the two with red hair. He's like, gives them an address. He's like, send them home and then send everyone else to
Here, yeah.
yeah, we'll get to it in the notes because according to the notes, the address he gives for everyone else is wrong. So he sends them to the football stadium, but
Yeah, it was a football stadium.
I think it's Baltimore. It's supposed to be Baltimore's, but yeah.
Yeah.
And then once they're clear, Guy basically tells he sends Simon for these missiles.
Yeah, and now I have a really stupid question coming up.
Air
One of the
National
first-
Guard, yeah, the Air National Guard's F-18 missiles. It says, yeah.
Yeah. So then they just just regular old explosives take out the Third Army, which again just doesn't feel quite right. But my stupid question is coming up when we get to the moon. So
Okay, yeah. I mean, it looks like Simon brings at least 18 missiles. I'm like, wouldn't that have they don't level that prison. I'm like, wouldn't that have leveled the prison?
I think they opened it up and
Oh,
put them in the bubble, and then like a certain character that we love, bubble something up so it can't do any damage to anything.
Oh, yeah. But I'm like, at least if you would have leveled that prison, wouldn't that have like shown a little more? It's like, oh, that's how powerful the Third Army is. Like, you have to like basically, go nuclear holocaust on the site of this prison.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That's when you bubble up the whole prison and be like, well, you know what, we're gonna nuke it, but at least we can contain it.
Exactly. Yep. So yeah, I mean, it again, inconsistent portrayals of these really. I mean, ultimately they are horrific, right? But so they do that, then they head to the moon, right?
And once again, Guy looks just like everyone else. Why are you carrying a gun?
A gun. Yeah, exactly. So they're on the moon. My thought is like, okay, is Guy gonna have Dig or have Simon duplicate their ring so they can give it to him?
Yeah, that seems possible. It's been done. It's been done.
Why is that not happening now?
It's been done in the New 52.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, don't give me a ring. Just give me a suit of armor and send me to Oa. I'm like, wait, what? What? Ring, dude. You what?
I mean, I get Simon probably wouldn't think of that since he's so new, but I'm like, if Guy, you would think Guy would know, and if not Guy, but Dig should know. Be like, oh yeah, I can do the ring.
Yeah. So I was really confused at that. And now I know we're not to the Wrath of the First Lantern or anything like that, but if the Guardians are responsible for literally trillions upon trillions of people being absorbed and changed, and they're dead, and whole planets, we're talking about, extinction level events for lots of planets. Again, I don't know how Wrath of the First Lantern, so I'm hoping that some of this is undone, right?
Yeah, I can't even remember. I probably think I read the Wrath of the First Lantern one time when it came out. So yeah, I can't remember.
But that's a big honking deal. We're talking, large chunks of the universe now uninhabited because of the Third Army, right? I mean, so I'm curious to see how that's going to go down.
And of course, at the end of this issue, yeah, we have to go over that damn message again from Hal and Sinestro.
Again, yeah, the same message, which we've seen 3 or 4 times now.
Yes, because again, in earlier comics, it would have just been like, and they play the message for him,
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the most, yeah.
Editor's note: see Green Lantern number
Exactly.
13, right?
Yes, but the biggest area, they say Guy Gardner has Badig evacuate people to 11 Russell Street, where they are seen being delivered onto a football field. The Baltimore Ravens play at M&T Bank Stadium, which is located at 1101 Russell Street in Baltimore.
That guy, you know.
New 52.
Yeah, New 52. That's right.
All right, so should we get to this second issue so we can talk this whole thing?
Yeah, so now once I thought 16 was an okay issue.
Mm-hmm.
It has problems, but I think it's not a problem with the issue, more a problem, kind of a systemic problem with the rise of the Third Army that it's just perpetuating, right?
Yeah.
But the annual I thought was much stronger. I mean, is
Yes.
that how you feel?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, and I do have a synopsis for it. I think they agree with you because there is a synopsis for this one.
Nice.
All right. All right, so Green Lantern Corps Volume 3, Number 1 from March 2013, Rise of the First Lantern. Writer Peter Tomasi, penciler Chris Cross, inker Scott Hanna and Marlo Alquiza, colorist Will Quintana, letterer Steve Wands, and editors Matt Idelson and Will Moss. Simon Baz, Badig, and Guy Gardner are standing on the moon and listening to the recorded messages from Sinestro and Hal Jordan
Again.
Like John, Guy recollects recent history and connects the dots to draw the same terrifying conclusions as fellow Earth Lanterns did. As Badig calculates that the Third Army will complete the utter assimilation of the universe in less than a month, sure, Jan, the Guardians call all the remaining Green Lanterns to Oa for a special inoculation that will render them immune. Guy sets a plan in motion to return to Oa and reclaim a ring before laying into the Guardians, sending Simon Baz and Badig into the Book of the Black to bring Hal back. Badig constructs a suit for Guy and sends him on his way before the two enter the book, seeing the images of Mogo, seeing the Third Army under attack, and what appears to be Black Lantern Hal Jordan as they disappear down the throat of the First Lantern. The two pop up in the Chamber of Shadows, face to face with Black Hand. Meanwhile, John and Fatality continue to help Mogo reform, and when the Guardians notice the state of Mogo's reformation, they send the Third Army to assimilate the two so they can use Mogo as of yet unknown plans. Mogo pulls John and Fatality into its core as Guy arrives on Oa with just enough energy left to make a rough landing in the Foundry. Kilowog is there and he pulls Guy from a Guardian trap when he attempts to reclaim his ring from stasis. While on the surface above them, more and more Lanterns arrive for their inoculation, only to find themselves immobilized. Guy and Kilowog are joined by Izamat Cole, Vathsarn, Iolond, Sornik Natu, and Hanu, and the group put together a plan to free the trapped Green Lanterns. It's about time we saw them.
Exactly.
As the Third Army arrives near the still forming Mogo, the largest member of the Green Lantern Corps, using bits of itself to create an arsenal of projectiles which tear the Third Army to pieces. Once reformed, Mogo releases John Stewart and Fatality. Back on Oa, Guy launches himself at the Guardians with Krona's power gauntlet, and he succeeds in diverting their attention from his fellow corpsmen, who've managed to free their ensnared comrades. Cal and the new Guardians arrive, and the battle rages on when the Guardians call forth the Third Army to join them against the uprising. The Manhunter army that Atrocitus assembled arrive, and their combined forces have the Guardians against the wall. With their power being pushed to the limit, the Guardians attempt to tap into the power of the First Lantern, but their gambit doesn't pay off for them, and Volthoom is able to break free. So, yes, everyone's finally converged here. Well, pretty much everyone.
Yep. So yeah, I thought this was a really well done issue. Things are finally
happening.
Guy going at him to be a distraction, take the punishment so that they can free the rest of the Lanterns. I mean, that's Guy. I mean, that's perfect. Kyle showing up as a White Lantern, which I'm still, still uncertain exactly what White Lanterns are/do, right? I mean, there's, having all the power of the spectrum. What does that mean? Because unfortunately, one of our complaints again with New Guardians was that it never was explained, right? It was just like, yeah, you need to master all of them. Well, what does that mean? Well, okay. But yeah, everybody converging. The Red Lantern, Atrocitus with his Manhunters. I mean, that was nice seeing all of that, kind of come to a head in this. So, and then with Simon and Badig going into the Book of the Black. Now, we don't really know where Hal and Sinestro are, right? Because they didn't go into the Book of the Black. They went into so they were drug into somewhere else, right? Or did they go into the book?
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to remember because I don't think. I mean, if they are in there, we didn't see them actually go into the book, did we?
I don't think so. I think they were just kind of sucked into, and they were considered dead by the rings.
Yeah.
Which is why Simon got tapped. But we're not sure what happened to them at this point. They're dead-ish, but they're in some other realm.
Unless the book's just like a gateway to them or something.
I don't know. Because it was Sinestro. Who was the person that they saw? Oh, it was Tomar Ray.
Yeah.
They saw Tomar Ray. Another Lantern who would be cool to bring back, but he actually had a pretty decent death, so I'm less annoyed with that than I am Kat Matui's death.
Yes. No, I'm just looking through the was that the Green Lantern annual? Yeah, I was, to see if they were actually dragged into the book or. Well, remember it was Black Hand and the Guardians.
They juiced him up so he would beat them.
Yes. They basically take control of Black Hand and like tell him let the darkness take them Black Hand. So yeah, Black Hand basically opens a portal or something and drags them in. So
okay.
Chamber of Shadows. Love that movie, Black Hand in the Chamber of Shadows. Yes.
Exactly.
You're a wizard, Black Hand.
But yeah, I mean, I think this was a step up. This was a good way to finally, bring Rise of the Third Army to a close and get us to where we've been going all along, which is Wrath of the First Lantern, the final story. Really the final story for this, the Rebirth era. Would you agree with that?
Wait, what did you say?
Wrath of the First Lantern really being kind of the bookend, the final story of the Rebirth era, because I feel like after Wrath of the First Lantern, it feels like from what I've seen and read during the Godhead crossover that at that point the Green Lantern family of Hal pretty much go full New 52 and that we don't really get much continuity from anything before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It feels really different, at least the Godhead stuff that I've read versus the Jeff Johns era stuff.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm curious to reread this because oh god, I really can't remember. It's going to be almost like the first time for me, Wrath of the First Lantern.
Well, it will be for me. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the art was good on this one. Guy felt like Guy, Kyle felt like Kyle. I mean, it seemed like this felt better written because the characters seemed like, and we got to see the characters from the last volume, which was awesome.
Almost like we were killing time with Guy, putting him in prison.
Yeah, doing time.
What is this, Emerald Dawn 2? Come on.
That's right. Was he drinking? I don't know. Whatever.
Oh no, that's an old joke, man. I was
That's
like,
a
what?
really old joke.
episode
Deep
2
cut.
or 3.
That's
Yeah,
a deep cut,
I
man.
was
Deep
old,
cut.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, it must be some kind of sign, like a yellow one.
Oh,
Ooh.
better that than a yellow lamp. Yeah.
That's right. There we
Yeah.
go. That's
There's an
even
episode
deeper
1
cut.
joke. There's an episode 1 joke. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this was I enjoyed this issue, and I thought it was good. It really, I mean, we've been on this continual treadmill of Rise of the Third Army for months and months and months,
Yeah.
of issues, and actually we've been on it. Well, I mean, I guess since the New 52 started, right? So we've actually kind of been doing this for at least a couple of months now, right?
Yeah, because I mean, oh God, when did we start New 52? It was like episode 180, was it
Yeah,
184 or something? So yeah, I mean, it's been
it's been some months, yeah.
been almost 20 weeks here. So yeah.
But this was a pleasant surprise to
Mhm.
see see the characters that we haven't seen in a while, and to get some Green Lantern action. It was I think it was really well done, and now with Volthoom Unleashed, we're going to see what does that mean. Who
Yeah.
is the first Lantern? So we're going to get, I think, at least I hope, we get some kind of some deep lore here with all kinds of good Green Lantern backstory and things like that. So
Like I said, it's been so long. Like it's basically going to be like the first time for me. I'm thinking Jeff Johns is hopefully going to bring his A game if this is the Swan Song. So
yep.
all right. What anything else, William?
I think we're good, man. What do we got coming up, Phil? And
Well,
happy New Year, even though we're not in the New Year
yes,
yet, but Happy
yes.
New Year.
All right. Well, the story you've patiently been waiting for, Will, Wrath of the First Lantern. Yes, for the next 4 weeks. So,
Excellent.
and again, the easiest way to remember, kids, part 1 is going to be issue 17 of everyone's book. Green Lantern Corps, New Guardians, and Red Lanterns. Part 2 is going to be everyone's issue 18. Part 3 is going to be everyone's issue 19, and part 4 is going to be everyone's issue 20. So
Nice
and easy to remember. And then we'll get after that we'll get to back to the Green Lantern series, and then some of those point number issues, which I think it was like a villains month, so we might be getting some villain spotlights, I think.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, issue 23.1.2.3 and .4 maybe. I think Sinestro's one of them. Black Hand's one of them.
Yeah, I don't have them labeled, but yeah. That right. Yeah, the episode after third Rise of the First Lantern. Yeah, we'll have 23.2.3. Yeah.
And then I think we've got something that I think is really kind of goofy coming up, because I see it talked about a lot on the interwebs, is that the rings are actually draining emotional energy, and they're going to cause the universe.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Kind of like, hey, we shouldn't use warp in Star Trek, but then we're going to completely ignore all that after it happens.
One episode, one and done. Okay, we need our
Yeah.
PSA episode. Yeah.
So I know that that's something that annoys a lot of people. So I'm kind of wondering if what's going on in the current book is going to address some of that, because it seems like it would be a perfect time for friend of the show.
Oh yes. Our current Green Lantern writer, yes, and friend of the show, which would love to have him back sometime soon.
This is Jeremy Adams, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Knowing that he's as much a continuity geek as we are, I could see him potentially addressing that with what's going on in the current book, because we're dealing with the Source Lantern and things like that. So I'm really enjoying the current book, and like I said, I enjoyed this current issue of the annual, and Green Lantern Corps 16 as well.
Yes, and I believe you are going to enjoy the kind of the wrap up to the first What's more than the first arc, but basically we're going to tie up a lot of the stuff that's been happening, and like with the United Planets, and it kind of shows, kind of hints of what's to come.
Excellent.
Yeah. Oh, and we didn't even mention, I didn't even notice it until I was looking to see what comics were coming out this week, but there's going to be a Green Lantern, Green Arrow Hard Traveling Heroes special out this week where
Oh yeah.
I guess it's all new stories set during that era. So
Cool. And we need to really go back and, I can't believe I'm going to say this, take a hard look at Hard Traveling Heroes. I mean, there are things. I mean, first off, you've got, Denny O'Neil at the top of his game. You've got Neil Adams being Neil Adams. I mean, the art. But even with all that going for him, I mean, we're talking about a book that is 50. It's actually older than I am when it started, I think.
wow.
So, ancient, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as good and as important as it is, I think I've said this before, I really don't think it ages that well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, it does real damage to Green Lantern as a concept, and Hal in particular, I think, because of the way it's set up.
Yeah, well, again, you really got to write a hell of a story for it to age well after 50 years or more.
It's true.
And two, I think at that point, weren't sales on Green Lantern not the greatest, so they teamed them up with Green Arrow, and I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess they were trying to ground him more because maybe they were just like, oh, the cosmic stuff not selling as well, or
I think so. I mean, but this was. I don't think we were at truck driver Hal yet, but we were at insurance salesman Hal. Maybe not toy salesman Hal yet.
Yeah,
I mean,
it was either insurance or toy salesman. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like by the time we get to Hard Traveling Heroes, the core concept had kind of drifted away, and which is one of the reasons why probably it was having problems. So
Mm-hmm.
one of the great things that Jeff Johns did was kind of that get back to basics approach, and which I think you and I will both agree worked really, really well.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Jeremy Adams, I mean, if you want to throw in some kind of joke, show like the history of the Green Lantern, just, one day Hal and Guy are just getting into it, and Guy just says to Hal, didn't you used to have the same job as that Geico on TV? That Gecko on TV?
Nice, yeah. Yep. So, I think we really, at some point, once we kind of, maybe next year or the year after.
Well, yeah, we were saying maybe around episode 250.
Yeah, and we can just do a deep dive into Hard Traveling Heroes. But yeah, but I'm looking forward to Wrath of the First Lantern, and of course, the current issue when I finally get it in the mail. So
okay. All right. So anything else?
I think that's about it.
All right. We already said, told you guys what issues to read for Wrath of the First Lantern. That'll be the next 4 episodes. And everyone's going to be here. Every book.
Finally.
Yes.
Finally.
Exactly. All right. But again, kids, send us your thoughts on Wrath of the First Lantern. And again, any lingering thoughts on Rise of the Third Army, or whatever's to come, or hell, Hard Traveling Heroes. But email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes Lunatics episodes, social media, merchandise. Get your brand new Capes Lunatics merch, the classic Capes Lunatics merch. And again, well, definitely scarier than the Third Army, or even like evil Guardians. Lilith Hellfire demands that you rain the money on us at the Cash App link.
Make it rain.
Oh, don't make us be dancing on that pole in Baltimore, because, well, Baltimore.
She looks like she was just working a stripper pole down at Divas.
And hopefully, new Justin drops soon, because I think he's about pretty soon he's gonna be doing his annual drunken unboxing video. So
Nice.
yes. And of course the Patreon, or again, you can find Lilith and I give you exclusive content every month, uncensored, and if you are a patron, you can suggest topics for us to discuss. Justin has sent a few. Justin and I finally shamed Ray into sending a topic, so we'll probably be doing that soon.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a hell of a good time every time. So yeah, worth the money. So you can subscribe at patreon.com/CapesandLunatics and find everything at tubespace.ao/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.ao/CapesandLunatics Podcast Network.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
All right, kids. Now for this Mr. Will Allred, master of the core, master of the quantum zone, master of podcasting, and several Kickstarter I stumble on that every week. Several successful Kickstarter campaigns. So Will, tell them all about what you do.
You can find me at Walred. That's at WALLRED at Gmail and Blue Sky and Facebook and Twitter and probably other places that I've forgotten about. But if you'd like to check out the books that I write, you can do that. The first book is Crossover Division. It's an ongoing series. Number 20 will be the last issue. We've just fulfilled number 5, and we've got a hardcover of the first 4 issues out as well. But you can check that out at crossoverdivision.com. And a previous book I've wrote was Diary of Night. That's a 4-issue series. You can check that out at diaryofnight.com. And obviously, you've got great taste because you're here hanging out with Phil and I talking about Green Lantern. So obviously, you probably love Marvel's Quasar almost as much as we do. And if you'd like to learn more about Quasar, you can do that at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org.
I'll put it in my navel.
Hey, you boys, you look at the party? I love the party. He goes limp in my grip. I hope it's going somewhere nice. They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices.
That brilliance from Tom DeFalco and Star Blast.
That's right.
I, of course, love Hal Jordan.
I do.
All right, kids. Thank you for joining us. Again, finally next week, Wrath of the First Lantern finally begins. Do it out for the next month, and then then we'll get this see what comes after Jeff Johns.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So fingers crossed, kids. You figure, I mean, we might almost be are we almost halfway through the 50? Well, I was going to say, because we're almost at issue 25.
About a third. Yeah, but
then we got to add in some Justice League, too. So, I mean, we'll see. All right, kids. So come back next time. And remember, which is worse in Baltimore, the jail or the football stadium? Good night.